Anthony, I'm so pleased to see you all the way from Islay, especially for this tasting of some of your whiskies. Anthony Wills is if you don't know, the founder of Kilchoman distillery on Islay. But it's lovely to see you.
That's great to be here. So this is the autumn release. Actually, this is one of our most early releases we ever did. So we had the inaugural release, which we released on the 9th of September 2009. And then this would have been the second small limited release. And in those days, we had a standard bottle, which we bought off the shelf. And I've always liked this sort of dumpy bottle, a traditional whiskey bottle. And that's why we chose this bottle. And then soon after this was released, we went to our own bespoke bottle that we had designed and manufactured ourselves. So autumn 2009, I'm quite a simple guy, so we just came up with pretty simple names to call our whiskies. We always wanted to have a split label so that we had the main Kilchoman brand on the top label, and then we could change these bottom labels to suit whatever release it was.
Save money.
Sorry?
Save money.
Save money. Well, I'd spent quite a lot up until then, so
I
probably needed to. But this takes me back, actually, to the early years when Jim Swan was involved, and I remember all those years ago, 2002, I came through and I had a chat with you. I think we had a lunch or two.
I would imagine.
And I was asking you about recommending someone who could help me with the project and to help me with the production and the design and the stills and all that. And you recommended Jim, rang him up, met him about 2 weeks later, and Jim was my main guy who held my hand right through the whole process.
Oh, yes, I've forgotten
and he was just a wonderful guy, so it was a very good. So for that, I thank you, Charlie.
Well, thank you very much. We'll drink to it. Small, well, a bit more than that.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Small for you,
That's great.
Yeah. So this would be a combination of bourbon and first fill sherry casks. I think from the colour you can tell that immediately it's not all bourbon. And this will be 3 years of age. I mean, it will be only just over 3 years of age. Those original releases we did were that age. There was no 4 or 5 year old in the vatting. It's all 3-year-olds.
It's terrific. Now, it's distinctly smoky.
Yeah.
You currently do, and did you do it right from the start, non-peated and peated?
No, right from the start, we had our own malt that we were peating to about 10 to 20, and then we were buying commercial malt, and we still are from Port Ellen Maltings. And we'll continue to do that. We've done a few unpeated versions now, and we'll continue to do that. But in the early years, we stuck very much to what we were achieving. So this was from commercial malt. So this wasn't from our own barley that we'd grown and malted. In those days, it was about 30-35% of our production was from our own barley that we grew on the farm, and we kept that completely separate. So we do a separate release, which we call our single farm, single malt. But this has clearly got a bit more sherry than, and I'm not sure the makeup because it was a long time ago and I'm getting old and forgetful. But this will be bourbon and sherry. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm certainly. I'm not. The top notes are certainly smoky. The immediate impact, Islay whiskey, and the and I'm not getting the subtleties of sherry or whatever.
No, I mean,
but it's got a maritime note. Well, you're right by the sea, and the
I'm not getting it so much.
This is lovely. It really is, because it's completely mature. And I'm not getting any grainy, malty notes, which I might not expect.
And I think you'd expect that at something of this sort of age, of a single malt. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And no sort of alcohol burn or anything. It's quite sweet.
No. It's a very pleasant, attractive nose.
And this would have been bottled at 46%. No chill filtration and natural colour. So I mean, this is why the casks are so important. I think in what you fill your whiskey into.
Yeah, but you don't want the cask to take up. That's a cracker, actually. It's very it's distinctly salty.
Yeah, saltiness and a briny sweet, character.
Sweet, briny, and then slightly spicy, and then smoky.
And I go back to these, and I think, Christ, we did make pretty good whiskey when it was 3 years of age. So,
absolutely.
And I think that age shouldn't matter if the whiskey's made well.
I absolutely agree with you.
And but I haven't tasted this for years.
I think I've ever, or probably tasted.
No, you probably haven't.
One of the openings.
It was only 7,000 or 8,000 bottles, so it wasn't many. We allocated it to our 10 or 12 markets at that time, and it would have been sold through very quickly. So I don't see very many of these around. So it's great to go back and taste them, because actually it just makes me believe a little bit more about what we were doing in those early years.
You got it right, right. You got it right from the start. You really did. You say this is a mix. You use these loose sherry casks and bourbon casks. Are we talking first fill bourbon, and are we talking European oak sherry?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and first fill, but all of them were living in first fill.
And young, so in the early years of maturation, they make a dramatic impact in colour as well as everything else.
Colour and character, you get a lot more with first fill, and good quality wood. Obviously, it makes, and that's when Jim Swan was hugely helpful to us. Make sure that we were in contact with the right people to get to source our casks.
Yeah.
And actually, this has probably got more sherry in than we do now, actually, and it's great to go back and taste it because it's good.
Gorgeous. It's a lovely,
maybe we should be using more sherry.
Yeah, well, sherry casks are very expensive.
Sherry casks are very expensive at the moment. So,
but it is. I'm so pleased to taste it because it's absolutely gorgeous. It really is.
Good.
Yeah.